everyone to our panel discussion on decision making. This panel discussion is related to everything regarding decision making, the problems, the solution, what goes on in your thought process, what's not going on, and everything. Our esteemed panelists, I'm going to invite them one by one, and you will have a chance to, hear them out because they are all from various different careers and having their thought process into decision making, knowing how they make decisions is going to help you a lot in your life as well. So let me begin. Let me start by introducing our first panelist of the day, Dr. Atri Gangapadhya. Hello, Dr.
Hello.
Atri. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thank you for having me here. It's a great honor to be here. Thank you, everyone. Looking forward to an exciting afternoon.
We are so grateful that you are a part of this panel and you have taken out the time out of your busy schedule. And before I invite other panelists, I would just like to mention something about you. To introduce you to our audience. Audience, Dr. Atri is based in Ranchi, Jharkhand, and he's a doctor of diseases of lungs, pulmonologist. If I hope I've
Yeah, you
said
got
it
it
right.
right.
Okay, and he's trained at Guwahati, Calcutta, Delhi. He is the national spokesperson and East Zone Governor of Chest Council of India. Such an honor to have you. He has the first impulse oscillatory machine in the entire state of Jharkhand. That's basically an advanced diagnostic technique for lungs disease, if I'm right. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Lovely. And you are also passionate about air related pollution diseases and a strong advocate of effective communication, which we can clearly see the way you are talking, and audience will definitely get to know about it as we progress.
Yes, yes.
And you are also the pioneer of teleconsultation during lockdown and various waves of COVID. And you have been facilitated as the COVID warrior at various platforms. We are so humbled to have you here on this platform to talk about decision making.
Thank you for the kind introduction. Very generous words.
Thank you for being here. And our next panelist is Amreen Anjum. She
Hello,
is.
everyone.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Tanya?
I am very fine. I'm so happy to have you here. And I would like to introduce you to our audience as well. So, you
Sure.
are a professional actress with over 10 years of experience in media, and you have worked in across all mediums, including ads, TV, web, theater, films. And some of her renowned work include films like Sir, which also won Cannes Film Festival and
Yeah,
Filmfare Awards.
at the Cannes Film Festival. Yes, yes.
Cannes Film Festival, wow. And Tota Pataka, Item Mal, and Class of 83, which are all available on Netflix as well.
Yes.
Yeah, lovely. And your film Jal Danav has received the world recognition, and you've also been nominated as the best actress, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. And I'm so grateful because the film is doing really well and we are hoping that it'll release soon in India too.
Woohoo! Yes, we are all excited for it. And your upcoming film is the one of the biggest release, RRR, directed by S.S. Rajamouli.
Yes, we are really excited for that film and the final date of release is 25th March. So everybody please do watch RRR.
Yes, yes,
Definitely.
yes. We're all excited for it. Yeah. And you also run Act with Confidence, where you provide online acting workshops for budding actors. And it also involves casting, if I'm not wrong, like for big
Yeah, yeah. So
brand.
we started Act with Confidence when this whole COVID wave started because it was very important to train actors. Training is really important. And at that time, nobody had any work. So it was an initiative to help budding actors as well as actors who are working in the industry but have nothing to do at the moment.
Absolutely, absolutely. I, in fact, know a few actors who are struggling, and I, you are, helping them out. It's such a so glad to have you here, Amreen.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad I'm a part of this panel discussion with such esteemed people.
Thank you. And with that, let's invite our third panelist, Riddhi Gandhi.
Hello. Hi.
Hi,
It's
Riddhi, how are
excited to
you?
be here. I'm good. How are you?
Lovely. And we are also very happy to have you here. Riddhi is currently practicing as counseling psychologist, having completed her MSc in psychology. And with her ever enthusiasm, to continue to learn, and she's always learning, she's also pursuing post graduation diploma in counseling psychology. Her work includes dealing with emotional, social, educational, behavior related concerns for both children and adults. And I think, if I'm not wrong, at the start of your career, you had also worked with children with special needs, and you were
Yes.
helping them adapt and cope with the school environment.
Yes.
Wow, how wonderful is that? And your interest also lies in working with children, not only in the limited space, but you've also volunteered, right, with the NGOs, catering to the needs of the children, especially with autism.
Yes. So though I started my career then, but a long back I had already, started volunteering because I've always been interested working with kids.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Wow. Okay. And now, in the recent times, you've also expanded your work career and you're taking one to one counseling sessions for young adults and adults. Yeah, lovely. So, you're professional. So, you have been professionally helping people for over 2 years now. And because you believe in giving back, you have also started your journey as a professor, and you are also teaching at various colleges as a visiting faculty. Lovely, lovely. So you are igniting that spark of, helping people out and counseling and other young adults as well. That's lovely to know. It's
Yes.
lovely.
Thank you so much
So
for having me here. Yeah.
we are pleased to have you here. So happy to have you here. Our fourth panelist, Major Nitish Kumar, unfortunately will not be able to attend us today right now because he is flying in the valley. And so it will mostly be the three of us. But if at all he is able to join us, we will, make sure that he is able to join us in the panel discussion whenever he becomes available. And before we move ahead, a little bit about me as well. I am Tanya Mehra, transformational coach. I have been coaching for over 2 years now, and I have done my diploma in transformation coaching from UK. Done my masters in philosophy, not psychology, philosophy from University of Glasgow. And I'm also a certified face reader, basically helping people understand their personalities based on facial features. Yeah, so if you guys are interested, we can definitely do that after this discussion. Let's,
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, before that, I was in events and everything. I have also conducted workshops at esteemed institutions like Symbiosis and Anima Center of Coaching in the UK. And right now, we are going to launch the course on decision making. So that's just a little bit about me. And yeah, I am super happy that I could, curate this particular panel discussion and have three eminent speakers join us today and share their views on decision making. So honored and so humbled to have you here, each one of you. Yeah. Okay. And before we start with the decision making, unfortunately, today, the beautiful singer Sri Lata Mangeshkar ji is no more with us. So, in the honor, she has we whatever we say is lessness. Nothing can add up to it. So, in her honor, let's just go for a 1 minute silence, and I will be tracking. So, yeah, let's just close our eyes and Yeah, thank you for paying homage to Sri Lata Mangeshkar ji. And yeah, with that, let's begin with our panel discussion on decision making. So, I don't know if you have come across, but in this article by Harvard Review Business, Harvard Business Review, they had mentioned in one of their articles that we make 2,000 decisions every hour. Every hour we are making 2,000
Wow.
decisions. Yeah, considering that we are sleeping for 7 hours. Basically, they said 35,000 decisions are made during the day. So, considering that, if I'm not wrong, there's also a term that is called decision fatigue, a condition that people face because of making decisions at prolonged intervals. Because you're constantly making decisions, you reach a point that you're not able to make proper decisions, or you're already tired. You've already utilized your power, your energy, and everything. There are other problems linked to decision making as well. There's procrastination, fear of making the right choice, the fear of the consequences, that if I choose A, this will happen. If I choose B, that will happen. So there are a lot of problems associated with decision making. And considering all that, and how quickly we have to make decisions, Dr. Atri, I would like to ask you here, what does your decision making process look like? Because you have to constantly, instantly make decisions, I think, spot on
Yes, yes.
decisions. So what does your process look like?
Yeah. When I come to decision making, I would always put something in context. If I'm
Mm,
living in India and working in India,
mm,
we Indians are really crazy about Bollywood and cricket.
yes.
Means Bollywood and cricket defines our culture. Bollywood and cricket defines our happiness, our heightened emotions, etc. And when I was growing up, it was a habit that I think in school time there was not so much of academic pressure. I used to see one movie every day. Luckily, there
Okay.
were those cable TV channels, so one movie every day I used to see. And now when I need to, let's say, talk to someone, or when I need to, let's say, make my own decision, I remember some very legendary Bollywood dialogues which have, let's say, stuck in my mind, kind of like when you were telling us about regarding that I am a certified face reader. I remember that in childhood there was this famous song, किताबें बहुत सी पढ़ी हुई तूने, बता मेरे चेहरे पे क्या क्या लिखा. You took it very seriously.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So what I want to say is that when I have a patient before me, patients are of two type. Someone, if I do not act immediately, that patient may not survive. Someone
Mm,
where I need to take a decision that will help in the long term well being of that patient. Whenever there is a situation of life and death situation, at that time maybe we work at spinal level, means during our medical training, like I am a doctor of the lungs, so it took me
mm.
6 years to train in diseases of the lungs. So we know
Oh,
which, yeah, so we know which parameter is the most threatening parameter. So we check
mm,
that parameter first. Let's say there are three parameters, A, B, C, which
mm,
are the most important in with respect to life and life threatening. So if those three parameters are okay, so then I can take some time to read the previous notes of this patient or talk to the family members. But if any of those three parameters are not good, then
mm,
maybe we need to take decision at a spinal level for a life saving thing first. Everything else can wait. So
mm,
before taking a decision, I would want to tell everyone to consider whether this is a decision of life or death, or whether
mm.
you can pause to ponder. So that is
Correct.
how I go across.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So is it a life and death situation, or is it a decision where you have to, you can pause and ponder? I like the
Yeah.
words that you've used, pause and ponder. It stays well. And yeah, it is one of the most, these are the important things that we need to consider, while making decisions. But I still wonder, however, when you are making your decisions, what are the common problems that you must have faced, or you are facing still while making these decisions, keeping these parameters in mind?
Yeah. When a patient comes to me, a very important thing is, see, one thing is that patient is suffering from a disease. I need to treat the disease.
Mm.
But another very important thing is, what do they want from me? What is their expectation from me?
Okay.
Means,
Mm.
suppose there is a certain disease, let's
Mm.
say tuberculosis.
Mm.
Now, I know that the most dangerous symptom of tuberculosis is coughing out blood.
Mm.
But the patient may be worrying that due to tuberculosis, if I give the patient medicine, the patient will have to skip office 2 days a week. That will result in loss of wages.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
patient's priority is different, my priority is different.
Mm.
So, if you want to be a successful doctor, there has to be a balance between my decision for making that person all right and his decision in what is his chief expectation in meeting me.
Mm.
There has to be a balance between these two. Other than, because if that balance is not there, then either the patient will not become better or the patient will not be satisfied. So
Correct.
whatever may be written in our textbook, when I was studying in medical college, when I
Mm.
start practicing, I have to adapt myself, I have to modify myself with
Mm.
respect to this. What does that patient want from me?
Correct.
Sometimes, if the person is familiar, we can ask directly.
Mm.
Like our dear mutual friend Sumit. When Sumit's parents consult me, I can directly ask them, Uncle, what is hitting you most at this point of time? But
Correct.
if the patient is someone unfamiliar, total stranger, then indirectly I may have to derive that what
Mm.
does this person want from me?
Correct.
If I
Correct.
translate this to any other field,
Mm.
whatever the customer is wanting and whatever I am able to serving for the best, there has to be a balance. The decision has to be tailored as per that.
Correct. 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 Awesome. Okay. So it's more about understanding what is the requirement at the other side, knowing what is it that you can deliver and what are you expecting, and then finding a middle ground. And in that
Exactly.
middle ground, you are able to make the decision, the best perfect
Wonderful.
decision. Wow. Okay. So finding middle ground is one of the main decisions, main thing that we can consider so that both the parties or all the parties involved are happy with the decision.
Yes.
So, what is the one thing I would still like to address this question to you, Dr. Ratri? What is the one thing you wish you knew earlier about decision making earlier on in your life?
Yeah. See, again from Bollywood,
Yeah.
जिंदगी बहुत मुश्किल है, इसीलिए दूसरों की गलती से सीखा करो. Life is life is
Hmm.
difficult and life is short, so learn from others mistakes. In
Hmm.
our professional career, there was no refined organized course regarding art of communication or art of decision making.
Mm-hmm.
We were taught regarding diseases, everything
Hmm.
in detail, but there was
Yeah.
no course regarding art of communication or art of decision making.
Correct.
And when I am in my profession, if a
Hmm.
person is not prepared, then
Hmm.
there is always a point for dissatisfaction or a point for conflict. So
Hmm.
I would want to use this august platform for the other professionals listening in,
Hmm.
whichever field you are. If you are not yet an established professional, if you have some time to spare, please try to enroll to learn how to communicate or how to make decisions. I basically learned when I saw a senior's case gone bad, or when I saw, let's say, senior being ridiculed by their patient party, whatever, that maybe I should never do this. Or maybe
Correct.
in some case where my decision did not go good, and then I realized I should not have done that. But yes, in means you can tell that I have been self taught in art of decision making or art of effective communication. So any
Hmm.
professional course that involves a professional versus stranger relationship has to
Hmm.
have grounds of this training strictly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. How beautifully you have put it across. So, one thing is learning from others' experiences, what are they are experiencing, and then learning from them how to make better decisions. Because earlier, you did not have that many option to, learn effective communication or how to make decisions. And I love how you had mentioned if your profession involves communicating with strangers, then you need to have this aspect, because being able to communicate in such a way that the other person understands and then making a decision, does solve major part of the problem. So absolutely, thank you for this particular answer. Amri and Riddhi, would you like to add anything to this?
So basically, as Dr. Atri has been mentioning that whenever it comes to any profession, decision making is not taught to us. It's either we are learning from others' experience, or you make your own. You have your own experiences and you learn through that.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we do make, it's important to have those experiences. Only then you are able to learn. But a lot of time it
Mm.
is not necessary for you to go through that experiences where you have that option from learning from someone else. So,
Mm.
having that open mind to observe around what is there. So, as Dr. Atri was said, that I, observed my seniors, so how they were doing it, and make a note of that. So, having that
Mm.
mindfulness is also very important. That this is the way I'm going to learn, and putting that across. Like, I really appreciate. Like, I really like the way he put across that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Being
And that is
open.
something that even I work like. That is one of my philosophies as well. Like, learning from my own experience or from others' experiences. That is something even I have been doing it. So, yeah.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you for sharing that, Riddhi. Amreen, I assume you had something to add here.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
want to say to Dr. Atri, I think in the past 3 years, you guys have done fabulously. It has been such a tough time, and you guys had to really make some tough decisions. I'm sure we could only see a fraction of what was actually happening, but what you have gone through, only you people must know how difficult it must have been to be in those situations. So I am really thankful that we have people like you with us here, who have saved so many of us, who have dealt with a situation which nobody ever imagined could have happened. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad, the way he said balancing it out and everything. I mean, he said it so smoothly, but I'm sure it's so difficult to do all of that being in that situation. So kudos to you for, to your entire fraternity for doing such an amazing job.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are so honored to have people like you around us, who are just putting out all of your time and all of your energy, everything into helping others and just being there, irrespective of whatever is going on, but while also taking care of yourself. It just, yeah, I'm just thankful to have people like you around us over here. And um, Amreen, the next question is directed towards you. So, when you come across too many options, because you are an actor and you have so many roles coming your way, how do you decide which one is the best role for you, or which one would best suit you, your abilities, your capabilities? So, how do you make that decision?
It is a very tough decision, actually, because sometimes you get the work you don't want to do and you don't get the work you want to do. So you're stuck in.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get a lot of roles, I think the first decision me as an actor or a lot of actors have to take is to learn to say no to things we don't
Okay.
want to do.
Mm.
Because you just don't want to do things for the heck of money or just because you want exposure. For me personally, I my decisions are based on how much faith I have in a particular project or in my character, how
Mm.
important it is. If you see my choices also, whether this is a story which people should see,
Mm.
you know, thing like that, whether it's important to tell a story of this person or whatever the entire project is, the message the project wants to deliver. So for me, it's
Mm.
very important to connect on that level. If I
Right.
believe in the project, if I believe in my character, then I say yes. Nothing else
Mm.
matters. But if
Mm.
I hear something, if I read something and I don't feel anything within, I
Mm.
feel it's just futile. I mean, I'll do it, I'll get the money, but I won't feel happy from within. Then would like
Mm.
to say no to that project. It's very difficult to say no because our work is like a freelance system. So it's not like we're working every day. So sometimes we're working for six
Mm.
months, then sitting for the next 6 months at home. So to say no is also
Yeah.
a tough decision. But it's very difficult for me to say yes to something I don't believe in. So that is really
Hmm.
important for me as an actor, to have faith, to have belief in that project.
To have faith, to have belief in a particular project. And you mentioned it's the most important thing for you in your career is having the ability to say no, knowing when to say no and how to say no. And it becomes a very difficult decision because, like you mentioned, it's a freelancing project. So there's a project, and but doing a project that you don't believe in or you don't have faith in will not make you feel happy. So you have connected your decision of which project to choose, which character to show, with yourself. What do you connect with the most? And depending on that, you have made the decisions. And as we can see, it has definitely worked out really well for you,
Thank
with
you.
the
Thank you
choices
so
that you've
much.
made, with the decisions. Yes, lovely. So since Amreen has mentioned about making a decision and it knowing how it is feeling, and based on that taking a decision. So Riddhi, I would like to direct this question towards you. That once we make a decision, that we've made a decision, and then we feel that it is not panning out as we had expected it to. So how do you deal with such situations?
Okay, so I think this is the question they have asked is very close to my heart. One is because for longest time in my life, I've always been afraid to make decisions, just with the fear that this may not pan out for me. So it has been a lifelong journey for me to understand that it is okay that you are doing something like with best of interest and with best of you have made a lot of research behind it. You have thought about it for a really longest time, and even after that, if you're making a decision in the moment, it may not work out for you. So
Hmm.
just being it may take some time definitely to because you have been building so much on that, to accept that okay, it is okay, it may not work out for you, and just accepting that. So not
Hmm.
every decisions that you are going to make, even when you do with the best of interest, may work out for you. So learning to be okay and being able to accept that is a long journey that we all have to make. And it's a little may it sound easy to do it, but it's not difficult to actually do it. Like to
Hmm.
accept yourself, to accept that okay, this is something may not work out. And then
Correct.
and all of these experiences are learning experience for you, though it may not worked out in the manner that you might have wanted to work, but it has definitely taught you a lot of things, especially for me. So even if the project is not working out, there might be something that you have gained from it. So just to have an open mind and to look for the learnings that you have had in those decisions that you have made. If nothing,
Hmm.
at least in future you know that this is the decision or a similar kind of decisions you're not supposed to make. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Lovely. So there are going to be moments where we are going to make decisions and then realize, oh, it did not work out the way we expected it to. And you were hoping for something. And like you have very well mentioned, fear of the very fear that what if this decision does not work out for me? And that has kind of paralyzed a lot of people to act on anything. They've just numbed themselves, or went into an indecisive mode where they've just completely stopped making decisions. And you very well noted it out that the very first step is acceptance. Accept that you took a decision and the decision did not pan out. It's okay. Acceptance will help you to move forward in a certain way. And what will also help in that situation is looking for the silver lining. What did you get to learn? What happened because of this decision? How this particular learning is going to help you out in future? So all these things just motivate us to move forward and kind of get over it, kind of a thinking, okay, now we can make more decisions, we can make other decisions as well. Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Would Dr. Atri, Amreen, would you like to add anything to it?
Yeah, I would just like to say that, even when a decision doesn't work out, um, it works in our favor because we know what not to do the next time. So, it's a learning process. Like she said that, it's very important to make those failed decisions also to grow as human beings in life. So
Absolutely.
those failed decisions are also very important for us.
Hmm.
And once we've gone through that, we always come out stronger, and we always have a clearer vision for the next time.
Yes, absolutely. Clearer vision for the next time. Yes, very powerful.
Whenever a decision goes wrong, there are two ways of thinking. First
Hmm.
way of thinking is that you can be replaced, you made a blunder, you are finished. But
Hmm.
the second way of thinking is that if I am a professional and I have worked hard to acquire some skills, then there are plenty of opportunities. One decision went wrong, it's more of a learning experience because there are
Hmm.
plenty of opportunities. If someone
Hmm.
can replace me, then I can also replace my next role. We should always remember that. So never be afraid of a decision going wrong. No one is perfect. And at the end of the day, over a period of time, no decision is a wrong decision. It may be a learning experience.
Yes, yes. Absolutely. The most important point is knowing that there are no right or wrong decision. It is just a decision that we have taken. And more often than never, this the concept of right and wrong decision is coming from our perspective. In
Yeah.
our eyes, this is right or this is wrong because of the way we wanted it to pan out or how we were expecting it to, for everything to fall into place. So this is definitely one of the most important points, that there are no right or wrong decisions, because that also takes the fear away. And absolutely, two things to keep in mind while making a decisions, or when you have made the wrong decision, is that we all are replaceable. We are imperfect, we are not all perfect. So if you got replaced, then you have other opportunities as well. You can go ahead and explore other options which were earlier closed. And I think with COVID, this is the one thing that I will appreciate of the, in the entire COVID phase, that a lot of people got a chance to sit, reflect, and think what they really want to do. They got the
Yeah.
chance to explore a lot of other things that happened. So, yeah, while it was a very difficult phase, absolutely it was a very difficult phase, but the positive connotation attached to this part would be the chance that people got to think about what they really want. And some have actually started working on it, and, they excelled as well. So, yeah, every aspect of our lives have some silver lining attached to it.
Absolutely.
um yes. So, Dr. Atri, I would like to ask you this question specifically, because I'm assuming during the entire COVID phase, you had to always make the decision whom to admit, whom to not admit, and what will happen, how things are happening. So in that very moment of making the decision, how did you feel? Like, what was going on in your mind at that point of making tough decisions?
Yeah. The second wave of COVID was something really, really bad. And
Mm,
our medical training never made us ready that such a disaster can come, that there
mm,
is a disease where everyone is falling ill and there are no
mm,
medicines which will actually work.
mm.
So everyone who survived second wave was due to prayers and good faith. I don't know how much medicines actually help.
Yeah.
So the worst thing about it was that, means we were overworked, means 20 hours, 22 hours every day, and
Mm,
the phone was always ringing, and there
mm.
was a WhatsApp backlog of 8 to 10 hours. So
Oh.
there were some people who could not reach out to me, or whose message I could not reach on time.
Hmm.
And in few cases, it made a difference between life and death. In few cases, means
Hmm.
someone tried to call me, let's say at 9 a.m., sent me a message. I could not receive the call. I saw the message at 5 p.m. It was
Hmm.
something serious. And when I reached them back, a calamity had happened. There were such instances, not only with me, but I think every doctor working in India at that time, because nothing had trained us for something so serious. So at one point of time, because what happens now, if you feel that your patient is a family member, you will be haunted forever. At one
Hmm.
point of time, I realized that I cannot attend to, or I cannot save everyone given the population of India, or even the population of my city or my state. So at one point, I had to draw the line that sorry, no more teleconsults. There are already 3,000 patients.
Hmm.
Until 500 people do not turn negative, I'm not going to take a new teleconsult. At one point, I had to start saying no.
Hmm.
A very big support at that time was my spouse, my wife. What she told me that if you stay healthy, you can save more people. If you fall ill now due to overwork, due to exhaustion, then
Hmm.
no one will be there to save them. So when
Absolutely.
there was such a disaster never seen before, one thing I learned was that if you are a front line at that time, you should
Hmm.
know how to take care of yourself at that time, so that you remain fit to serve
Yeah.
even more people, serve even more effectively. So
Hmm.
that is one thing which I learned, that any situation, you should take care of yourself first, ensure your safety first, so that you can save others. I think the
Hmm.
same should apply to multiple fields also, not only a healthcare, multiple fields also. If the first person is not all right, that first person can never serve, cater to the whoever is requiring the service.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in the moment of making the decisions, you knew at or you realized at one point that you will not be able to save every individual. And thanks to the support of your wife who made you think that okay, it's important for you to first look after yourself, because only then you will be able to help out others as well. So it is one of the most important thing, and I can't even imagine the kind of the intensity at which you must have constantly made decisions and how you must have felt, because even though
Yeah,
you've
because
heard
the
this.
no, what the worst thing was that I trained outside my hometown, but I'm working in my hometown. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, in COVID, the patients were not strangers. Someone was my childhood friend. Someone was my parent. My own father succumbed to COVID. I was part of the treating team, and despite his demise, I was not able to take leave to attend his last rites because I had others to save at that time. So at that time also,
Hmm.
I mean, after the cremation, I straight away returned to the hospital. Then two of my
Hmm.
teachers, they succumbed. So everyone there was someone known to me. They were no
Yeah.
strangers at that time. So at that time, realizing that maybe I will not be able to save everyone. So first take care of myself. So it was a very hard phase, but maybe it gave me a lot of wisdom that will maybe
Hmm.
help me able to work for a longer period of time, even successfully.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so sorry for the loss that you've experienced throughout, and kudos to your inner strength, how you were able to, move from one thing to the other thing, and each of them had severe emotional intensity involved in it, while and you had to maintain that practical thought process as well at the same time. So kudos to you and how you have managed these entire 2 years. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And Amreen, my next question is directed towards you. Since you have this Act with Confidence company going on where you're helping people to make confident, to act in a confident manner, conducting workshops and everything. So, what does making confident decisions mean to you?
Right. First of all, I would like to say that something like confidence building, communication, decision making should be introduced at the school level, because these things are actually going to help us in life, and
Hmm.
that's not done here yet. A lot of things are not done here yet, but I strongly believe that at a very young age people should be confident, they should be able to communicate, and they should be able to make their own decisions. In India especially, most of your decisions are made by your parents till the time you're 18, 20. so so that independence, that thinking is not there in us, and it's
Yeah.
not given to us by the education system, which I think is very important. A child of 10 years should also be able to know that this decision is something that is good for me, this decision is not right for me. So I
Hmm.
think that is very important for the growth of people. In our company, we teach acting, but apart from that, we also focus a lot on understanding oneself. It's very important to understand who you are first, because you're not going to get confidence if you're confused about who you are, what you want. Right? So once you know everything about yourself, be it the positives or the negatives or your strengths or weaknesses, whatever it is, but you should know, you should be aware, you should be self aware. Once you are aware, then you can make the right decisions for you. By right, I
Hmm.
mean whatever is suitable for you, not the right technical right or wrong. So
Yeah.
once you know what you want, once you know where you are in life, you will be confident about making all decisions. And whenever
Mm.
you make those decisions, you will feel fulfilled from within.
Mm.
You will feel in a way that this decision that I have made is going to have an impact, it is going to work for me, and
Mm.
this is going to lead me to my goal. You have that confidence within yourself, you have that belief that whatever decision I'm making is going to
Mm.
help me achieve my goal,
Mm.
because you're confident at your self level. You understand yourself, you know what
Mm.
you need, you know
Mm.
what you want.
Correct.
So for
Correct.
me, a confident decision is the decision where you know that this decision is going to work for me. And God forbid it doesn't work. I
Mm.
will take care of it. And I'll make another decision which is going to be better than this and which will help me achieve my goal. So I will not give up basically.
Absolutely. Such a beautiful way to put it across, Amreen. The way you said, even if it goes wrong, I know I will do something about it. So taking the ownership and kind of believing that you have got your back,
Yeah.
come what may. So that's like a confidence booster as well, even if it's a right decision or wrong decision. And absolutely, how you've mentioned the fact about being aware of who you really
Yeah.
are, what you really want, will help you be confident and also give you a lot of clarity of where do you want to go, which direction you want to take. Because whenever we are posed with a lot of questions or options, that is one of the consideration, right? If this is what I do, these are the consequences. If this is what I do, these are the consequences. So even if you're thinking about the consequences, you need to know which consequence do you align with the most, what
Yeah.
resonates with you as an individual, and what feels right to you, and not the literal right and wrong term. Absolutely, you've put it across in a very beautiful manner, Ramareen. And that makes me wonder, so since are you've worked with in RRR with SS Rajamouli, and when this had come towards you, this particular project had come towards you, how did you feel and how did you make that confident decision, yes, this is it? Because there are prominent personalities being a part of it. And yeah, how was that like for you?
I had even forgotten that I'd auditioned for that project because it was shot over 4 5 years, and when I
Uh-huh.
auditioned, the call came after 2 years. So I was like, oh,
Oh.
which? I was like, oh, which project? Then they reminded me, oh, this role you'd auditioned for this. I was like, okay, 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 all right. So
So
for
maybe
me,
they had taken 5 wrong decisions and then realized that you were the right decision for them after 2 years.
I don't know. I don't know because they were shooting in like sections. So they shot one part and then the other part. So the filmmaking process was only 4 5 years. Now I think it's almost 6 7 years because of COVID wave and everything. So
Mm.
yeah, glad that call came to me, and it was a
Mm.
little tough for me to decide because I had never worked in that industry. I'd worked in Bollywood, but that was the South
Yeah.
Indian industry, so I didn't know much about it. But when I heard about the character and the role that was being offered, I felt that this is something which I have not done, and this is something which will let me show the actor in me. I can express as much as I want to, and I think I can do justice to this role. So that moment when I realized this is something which is meant for me and I am the right choice for it, and I can do uh, uh,
Mm.
I can make this character come alive.
Correct.
The moment
Correct.
I realized that, all other doubts just disappeared. I was like, everything else will work out. We'll work out. I'll go there, see the industry. I'll figure out how it works. But
Correct.
because I believe in the character so much, and
Mm.
I want to be the only person to portray it. Nobody else should be able to do that. I want to be this person.
Mm.
That made it
Mm.
easy for me. So that took some
That.
time, but that came to me. So I was like, okay, fine. Now everything else will be sorted.
Yeah, now everything else will be sorted. So, because this project also came to you after 2 years of you have auditioned, and you have a company that is about act with confidence, and like you mentioned, there's a lot of self awareness involved, and you teach people to become self aware as well. So, that also kind of played a role right now in making a decision where you were able to see, okay, this is the role that I want to work on. I am connecting with it, even though it was from different industries. So you were in Bollywood and this is Tollywood, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Telugu
And
film industry. But it is technically an Indian film, and I'm glad
it
we are
was,
actually going to that place where, cinema is just cinema. It's Indian cinema. It's not Bengali, it's not Hindi, it's not Telugu, it's not Tamil. Everybody enjoys watching good cinema. So I'm glad
yeah,
right now we are at that place as an industry where, it's just Indian cinema and we appreciate that.
yes, it is all coming together. It's a beautiful
Yes,
feeling.
absolutely.
Okay, lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And Riddhi, I had a question for you. So, because even I am a coach and you are a counselor, so while there are these two are two separate things altogether, but even working with the clients is more or less similar in the sense. So when you are making that decision whether you want to work with this particular client or not, or this particular client, you'll be able to help them or not, and even the fact choosing to walk into this teaching aspect and managing everything while you are learning for yourself. So how, what goes on in your mind while making these decisions where so many things are happening at the same time? So what goes on at that point? Hmm.
So to answer your first question, like as you mentioned, with regards to the client, how do you make the decision? So I think with client, firstly we'll have to look at our competence level. Like where do you feel that you have the competencies to deal with the client who have a specific concern? And
Hmm.
aside from that, I feel in counseling or especially in coaching, it is a two-way process. It's not just a one-way process wherein I feel that okay, I'm competent enough, so client must feel good with me. It's a two-way
Correct.
process. Client also have that decision to make for themselves whether they find it comfortable, whether our meeting or our relationship is therapeutic for them or not. So it's a two-way process. So in counseling, we always say it's not just your theoretical understanding that
Hmm.
you get on the table. It is also you yourself and your personality that you get on the table. So
Hmm.
combining both of them when you are in that setup with the client, it's decision. Like sometimes you know that this is something you can deal with. So you go
Absolutely.
ahead with that. So you need to have that awareness. Okay, if this is what I'm bringing on the table, do I actually have the competency to deal with the client? So there's a motto that at least if you can't help them, go with the motto that you're not harming the client. So helping will
Yes.
come secondary, but at least you're not harming the client, and that is a back of the mind. Like whatever is happening, there's a tick mark that I do the okay. Whatever I'm doing, am I harming them or not? And if the answer is no, then I go ahead with it. So at least
Wow.
I'll be happy and satisfied with the fact that maybe I've not have helped the client, but at least I've
Hmm.
not harmed them in any way or any format.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
while dealing with clients, that is one way I go to. And
Hmm.
making other decisions, as you spoke about with regards to, going to the teaching field. So I think that comes with my own personal experiences. So when I was in the field of, psychology or, I've learned about it, I realized that, as I mentioned, it's not just about your theory part, it's also as a personality what you bring on the table. And for me, my personal
Hmm.
growth has been a lot about my teachers. So I was lucky enough to
Hmm.
have very supportive teachers and environment who have always, though I have always inclined towards the subject, but they made me who I am, if I could say that. Like, they've always pushed me or, helped me identify my skills. So, and
Correct.
I think that is something that I have benefited a lot from my teachers. And this is something I would like to give back. So I know the importance of teachers in any student's life. So I think
Yeah.
somewhere if I can at least play 1% role in their life, then I think I would like to give them back what I have
Hmm.
received. So
Hmm.
my decision is especially with teaching field goes from my own value of, my own experience that I've had.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Hmm.
And I think the
Lovely.
third,
Mhm.
yeah,
Go
you had
ahead.
asked something else I missed, I believe. You
Yeah.
had
I was asking that, there are so many things going on at the same time because you're taking coaching, counseling sessions for adults and young adults. You are also teaching, you have your own tuition kind of a thing for adults. And there, it's not only the college students coming in, but also people in their 30s and 40s coming to learn about psychology while you are also learning yourself, doing your PG diploma. So there is a lot of things going on at that particular time. So deciding what to do, how to do, whether you have that energy to continue doing what you're doing. So yeah, so goes on in your mind while making a decision that this is what I'm going to do or this is what I'm going to do? Yeah.
So when it comes to deciding, so I think first it's important to do work on time management and prioritizing it. So prioritizing basing what is your long-term goal. So if I'm
Hmm.
selecting this thing right now, upon why am I doing it? What is the purpose that it
Hmm.
is serving me? So aside from my own personal values also, but on a professional level, where do I want to reach in the next few years? What are my goals? And what steps do I need to take right now so that I can reach those goals are first thing that I do. And secondly, I think as Dr. Atri also mentioned that it's about self-care. In any profession that you take, having that boundary to say no to a particular decision or, and being able to as I think Amreen was also saying, being able to say no to a project when it's coming. I think all of those are your part of your boundary setting, saying no. All of these are part of your self care, and being actively being able to do so is an important that I think helps me a lot. That being saying, I know that's not
Hmm.
always all. It's as rosy it looks like. There are days when you also feel low, when you think that okay, I've taken a lot of work, but it's a process.
Yeah.
Coming, yeah. So there are few days when you also doubt yourself, like am I doing right, or should I have done that, or should I have not done that? But over a period of time, it falls into place. But yeah, so
Hmm.
these are the two main things that I do. So what's your long-term plan and prioritizing based on that? And yeah, self-care is the go-to thing. Like
Absolutely. So, like you mentioned, prioritizing based on your long-term goals while taking care of yourself, whether you are in the mind frame to, counsel someone else, or in Dr. Atri's case, being able to, cater to the patients and their needs. And in Amreen's case, even when you are also working with your students or, having that confidence that okay, yes, I am giving my best, I am delivering my best right now, because a lot of things depend on it. And like you have mentioned, connecting it with yourself. Even Riddhi, when you were talking about how your teachers have played a role in your life and that is why you want to give back as well to the society, you kind of connected it to your personal experiences. You know what it feels like, and you are fully aware of what makes you happy, what in what manner you want to give back to the society, what impacted you, and what kind of a change you would like to bring in. So again, connecting it to yourself, like Amreen had very well mentioned, it's about self-awareness, knowing who you are, knowing. So I would like to ask this straight, direct question to each one of you, our three eminent speakers right now. What role does this self-awareness play majorly in decision making? What role is it playing?
Yeah. So again, I would want to quote Bollywood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
You love us so
Another
much.
s- yeah, I like this actor really well because in all his films he's a patient of somewhat. So as a doctor, I like this actor really well, Shah Rukh Khan. So
uh,
there was yeah, so there was that actually DDLJ. Amrish Puri says, "Ja, जी ले अपनी जिंदगी." Now this is a very simple sentence, but at
yeah.
one point first I must realize that what does "जी ले अपनी जिंदगी" mean? There are
Hmm.
three parameters to this as per me. Firstly,
Hmm.
what occupation I am happy doing for a living. Why?
Hmm.
Because in my occupation, there is no time limit. Someday I may work only for 4 hours. Someday I may work 16 hours or beyond. So until I
Hmm.
am happy in that occupation, I cannot continue in that occupation for very long.
Absolutely.
Secondly, Jile Apni Zindagi means my immediate family who care for me or whose care I should take. So I should have a wonderful equation, wonderful relation with them with respect to everything. Trust, communication, absence of communication leading to understanding everything.
Hmm.
Third, Jile apni jindagi means how much I should earn and beyond what I should realize that I should not earn. Maybe
Hmm.
if I earn beyond that, it will eat up into my personal space, it will eat up into my happiness, it will eat
Hmm.
up into my comfort and
Absolutely.
compromising my worries or whatever.
Hmm.
So I always believe this sentence, Jile apni zindagi, be happy in your occupation. If you're not happy in your occupation, it is never very late to change your occupation.
Hmm.
There are so many wonderful, respectable ways of living in India. At a
Hmm.
point of time, if you feel that
Hmm.
maybe I am not doing good in this or I'm not happy in this, it's never too late to change. Education and professional education in India is perhaps much better than anywhere else in the world, where anyone in any age group can train for any course and get a valid degree. Secondly,
Hmm.
family. It may be biological, it may be legal family, has to be a priority. If at one point of time, my job or my recreation or my friend circle would be compromising upon my family, there has to be a hard choice that I should choose my family time over those certain things. What happens when many people are in competition jobs and they have to compromise quality family time, thinking that if I do not do this for my company, I may be replaced? No, you are a statistics for your company, but you are the world for your family. So never miss on some important family occasion, a kid's birthday, a kid's parents teachers meeting, a anniversary. If your job forces you to miss these things, it's okay to walk out. Take those decisions. If you take those decisions, then you will jile apni zindagi.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love how you have connected it to Bollywood and this very famous line, Ja Simran Ji Le Apni Zindagi. To even live by it properly, we need to know what does our Zindagi look like? What do
Yeah.
we want in our Zindagi? And then based on that, seeing in our close circle, who are the important people. For some it is immediate family, for some even close friends are involved, or there might be others as well. So checking in over there, what does that look like for us in our zindagi? Who are the people that are important part of our zindagi? And then knowing how to prioritize or make decisions so that we are living our lives, हम अपनी जिंदगी जी रहे हैं instead of making, working for life.
Yeah.
It is more about making life work towards us than working for life. So I love how you have connected it with Ja Simran Ji Apni Zindagi, and I will see. I try to see how I can align it with the course as well in other places as well. So thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Atri. And yeah, Amreen, what would you like to say?
Yeah,
How is
I think
self-awareness?
he's beautifully put it. You know, I think all of us were before. I think COVID. Most of us were just stuck in this rat race where we were just trying to earn and survive all the time, just reaching our professional goals all the time. You know, even if we are tired, we don't have the energy. We're like, no, 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 we'll be left behind. We'll be left behind. Somebody else will succeed. I think with this whole COVID, the shift has happened to actually what is important, whether it be family or friends or yourself. You know, half of us, I think more than half of the population is always taking care of others. Be it,
Hmm,
your husband or your wife, your children, you never think about yourself.
hmm,
But I think when this whole COVID wave came, people started realizing that, as Dr. Atri had said, that, it's very important to understand what is really valuable for you, what adds value to your life. Is this,
hmm.
always working, working, working? Is that adding value to your life, or you're just getting exhausted, you're getting burnt out? And
Correct.
in most our cases, I'm sure we were getting burnt out because we were like exhausted of just trying to achieve that goal. And even our
Mm-hmm.
families and people who were close to us were getting exhausted seeing us that way. So the environment was becoming very negative. The moment we shifted the focus to ourselves and started realizing, okay, this is what I want, this is what is making me happy, this is something
Hmm.
which I never knew was important, but going into this is making me realize that the purpose of my life is not just working and earning money and feeding my family. There are other important things also, you know so the moment that shift happened, the moment that self awareness came in, I think people started making more conscious decisions rather than just making decisions for the heck of it, कि ये होना है तो होना है. No, not like that. The decisions became more enlightened, more conscious.
Hmm.
People knew what they wanted. So the
Correct.
decisions were made accordingly.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think self awareness is very important for yourself as well as the people who are there around you.
Hmm. Yeah.
And once you, I know it's not very easy to just say that, I am self aware, I know everything about myself. It's a learning process. You'll keep learning about
Absolutely.
yourself throughout your life, throughout your experiences. To accept that and be okay with that and be truthful and honest to who you are, and
Hmm.
aligning your decisions according to that, I think that is
Hmm.
the best way to live right now.
Absolutely beautiful. That is the best way to live right now, to make confident, conscious, and enlightened decisions.
Yeah.
Lovely. Beautifully said. Riddhi, would you like to add anything to that?
I think Dr. Athri and Amreen has, beautifully conveyed what self-awareness is and why is it so important for us while we're making decisions. I
Yeah.
completely agree with what Amreen had, mentioned that because of self-awareness, now we are making conscious decisions, and I think that is, I think
Hmm.
all of us need to know about it. Like, because once we make that conscious decisions, we are more happy. Rather than happy, I think we will be more satisfied and at calm or at peace because we are aligning with who we are. This is
Hmm.
something we are being authentic with ourselves. And
Hmm.
as she correctly mentioned that self-awareness is a lifelong process, and I completely agree to that because
Hmm.
as we as a person with our experiences, we are also always evolving and growing and changing. So who I am right now may not necessarily be who I am maybe a few months later or a few years later. So it
Yeah.
is an ever learning and ever evolving process. So always it's good to know what is it that you like, what is it that you want to do, and then constantly be in touch with yourself. I think self
Hmm.
awareness is mostly being touched with what are you feeling in the moment, what are your thoughts, where are these thoughts coming from, where are these feelings coming from. So just when you're being touched with all of these areas, you will be connected as to what is it that you want.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, so this is what I would like to add. Like other, I think beautifully both of them had mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah. So being in touch with what we want and being aligned with what we truly want will help us to make positive, empowering, confident decisions. Knowing what to when to say no also comes with self-awareness. And self-awareness involves a lot of aspects. Self-awareness also involves a lot of aspects. It's knowing what you want, how you want things to be, and who are the close people around us who are getting influenced and impacted by every single thing we do, whether we take that decision or not, whether we are focusing on indecisions, not doing anything. Everyone gets affected. It's not only us who gets affected, and the way to go about would be through self-awareness. Lovely. So listening to everything and the questions and the way our beautiful panel has addressed these questions, the one thing that comes to my mind is somewhere or the other, the key factor that we must consider while making any decision is ourselves. Yeah, and I see that all three of you have nodded your head with a lot of impact that yes, you are right. So, yeah, making decisions, the one key factor that we need to keep in mind is ourselves, knowing ourselves and then acting on the decision. And to be honest, with this whole course that I've come up with, action based decision making, the one factor that I have put into consideration is this self awareness part, understanding what are your core values. What had happened was, because I have been in the coaching space for about 2 years now, um, constantly I was coming across some questions on Instagram, or my clients were directly asking me how to make decisions. I'm not able to make decisions for myself. This is going wrong, that is going wrong. And while reflecting on the commonalities and trying to understand what is exactly happening everywhere, that is when it clicked to me that it is becoming a problem for everyone in every profession to make decisions, because all are only considering the external factors. What will happen, this will happen, who's getting impacted, how it is happening. But because they are not linking it to themselves, the person who is actually going to live through these decisions, the person who is actually going to bear everything, they're not checking in with that particular person. So they are always confused, because
Yeah.
if you're going to consider every other person, every other alternative, you have too many options, which is only clouding your judgments. And to clarify that, like Amreen had very clearly mentioned, knowing yourself will lead to clarity, will help you with confidence. It will tell you what works for you, what is not working for you. And that is the very tool that I've used in this particular action based decision making. So what I've done is there are three modules. In the first module, I'm just explaining what are values, because knowing what your values are defines you as an individual, who you are, what is your driving energy and factor. So I've explained to people what is decision and how are values linked with decision. And in the second module, what we are focusing on is helping every individual who takes this course identify their core value. So if Sriddhi is taking the course, after the end, at the end of the second module, she will know what are her top three core values. So goes for Amreen, so goes for Dr. Atri, so goes for anyone who attends it. They will know what their core values are, and their core values are basically defining them. And then in the third module, using this core value as a tool to make decisions. So, an entire framework is created in such a way where the one factor you're considering is yourself, mainly your core values, and then uh, considering and comparing how your values play a role in all the options that you have, option A, B, C, D, how your values are playing a role. So, it gives you a basis where everything is there before you, and you can make a decision accordingly. Ki, okay, according to my values and who I am, this feels like the best decision. So they are able to calculate and see what is actually working out for them on a very personal level. And in another framework of this third module, what we have also done is we help people to make any decision that they've made. When people get married and they realize, okay, things are not working out, or they have joined a new job, but they can't stop, because they have to show in their CV, their resume, that they've at least worked for 1 2 years. But you can't go through that mental hassle where you're not feeling comfortable. So, how to align these decisions with your values is also one of the frameworks that we have worked upon. And that is what the course is all about. First, recognizing who you are, and then using that very thing as a tool to make decisions, be it in personal life or professional life. And that is action based decision making for you.
I think that's brilliant because you're laying a foundation for everybody, and that foundation has to be so strong that we're not confused about our decisions. So,
Hmm.
right now we have so many options and so many people telling us so many things that we forget to listen to our own gut feeling. We don't listen to what we want. And if
Hmm.
you lay a foundation where people know what their core values are and they make their decisions based on that, then any whatever is the consequence of the decision, you won't be unhappy with that choice because
Abs-
it's aligned with your core values. This is something you beleave in and you gave it
Hmm.
a try.
Hmm.
I think so that's a brilliant foundation for anybody, and we really need to have this skill. As human beings, we should learn this skill as human beings because we have to make so many decisions on a daily basis for ourselves, for our families. Sometimes friends also come up with they want advice and stuff, so it's very important to have it as a skill where you know how to make the right decisions and not just ponder over it, or just procrastinate all the time thinking about one decision and taking 10 days to come to a final
Hmm.
decision. This is a very
Hmm.
nice way, a really important tool, yet such a personal tool. You don't really have to go and get something from somewhere else, it's within you. So I think that's brilliant,
Absolutely.
Tanya. That's You're just making it easy for everybody.
Definitely,
Thank
I
you.
completely agree. Yeah, fine. So I was just saying that, we always say that, especially in psychology, that, all of us have that inner resources within ourselves. It's sometimes we may not able to realize this inner resources. So I think
Hmm.
this tool will definitely help us realize what inner resources that we have, and that will definitely guide us to make the decisions that are efficient and beneficial for us. So yeah, I think it is going to benefit a lot of people. And the more you know about the course, you should take it, and you should go ahead with the course because it's going to be really helpful. I can see that the way you are explaining, I can see doing like, okay, this is something that I can personally benefit from myself as well. So yeah,
Thank you so much, Siddhi.
yeah.
In India, earning is directly proportional to fear. If I
Hmm.
am afraid, I will pay. I
Yes.
run a nationwide coaching program where
Mm.
doctors who are studying this subject of pulmonary medicine, I teach them how to pass that practical exam, because
Mm.
the passing percentage of this practical exam is fixed by the government, that it should
Mm.
not be beyond a certain number to prevent specialists from flooding the market and destroying the market value. Let's say the
Oh.
government decides that only 60% people will pass. I think it is
Mm.
the same in CA and other such fields also, where a pass percentage is fixed. Now, if someone is failing for 2 or 3 times, now this person would want to pass so that this person can move ahead in life. So these people come to me pan India, and before COVID, I used to move to various metro cities to take my classes. Since COVID, I'm taking this via this telephone, Google Meet, etc. Now, you have launched a wonderful course. I totally endorse it because I understand how decision making has improved my profession in my local area. But
Mm.
to market it, to convince people that you need to pay to get this course is, until you can show them that someone who has not taken decision making, what would be the relative earning of that person? Someone who
Mm.
has taken this decision making, what would be the improvement in earning that from that person? Because mathematics and commerce is something everyone will correlate. Kitne ka, how much, kitna pada, something
Mm.
like that. You
Mm.
have to correlate these things, that let's say certain celebrated professionals who are good in decision making are earning a package beyond so and so, whereas
Mm.
certain people in that same industry who are not in decision making are struggling to earn only so and so. I think
Mm.
it's a must. People pay when they are afraid. Consider the realistics.
Mm. Fear is the driving factor for people, and even in advertisements people use fear as an emotion to sell the ads, but that is what makes people think. I think that is why they use that as an element as well, because that makes you think, nothing else makes you think more. It automatically, just starts propelling your thoughts. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Atri, and I will definitely take it into consideration and show how this particular course is impacting people in their lives positively, and what is the difference now and then, before and after the course.
So your target should be anyone in second year of graduation, because
Mm.
that is the point when the parents are, let's say, reaching retirement, or maybe
Mm.
some parent have already retired. So the person thinks that I will have to start earning. So that is
Correct.
the right point for you. Please
Mm.
target second year graduation students to get an
Absolutely.
instant hit at least. You
Mm.
need successful alumni to advertise for your prowess.
Mm. Yes, yes. I have taken these marketing notes, and I'm going to start working on them right away after this particular discussion. So, with that, thank you so much, Dr. Atri, Amreen, and Riddhi, for joining us for this particular panel discussion, and helping me launch this particular course on decision making called action based decision making. All your insights were so positive and so helpful, and they were so empowering and positive that it's going to help a lot. Everything that we have discussed today on this stage, be it about self awareness, be it about knowing your priorities, long term goals, taking care of ourselves, and all these things are some key points that we all should keep in mind, even in general. So, this has been a very uplifting and inspiring conversation. So, thank you so much for this. And for all the viewers watching us or who are going to watch us later on, since the course has launched, but if you are going to that course through this particular video that you're watching, you get an extra added benefit, which is you get the course at a discounted rate, and the code name is launch, launch, and using this you get the course at 50% discount. So please feel free to go and check it out, and the link is tanyamehra.com/courses slash. So this is where you will come across action based decision making. All the other information will be mentioned in the description. But yes, that is what it is. Also, if you feel, our eminent speakers, if you want to share it with some people and you feel this will be a good product for them, we will have a separate code for them as well, so that more and more people can benefit out of this.
I have this cohort of around 300 struggling doctors who are my students pan India. I am
Hmm.
sure some of them will benefit from this. So after this program, I would request you or Sumit ji to please share details via email or WhatsApp. Because in medical college, no one teaches communication, no one teaches decision making. But
Hmm.
if you are doing such a organized thing, it is going to really help people.
Yes, thank you so much. And definitely, we'll draft an email and share it with you, so that you can share it with your cohort of medical students. I'm very honored that
Please
it's
share
going
with
to
me.
help.
Please share with me also. I'll share with my network because I think this is going to help everybody, no matter what field they are in. It's going to be a great tool for everybody.
Yeah, I
Absolutely. Thank
completely
you.
agree. Yeah. And all
Hmm.
the best for the launch. Yeah. I think it's going to be very, helpful and efficient for a lot of people. So yeah, I do hope that a lot more
Lovely.
people come
Thank
across this course of yours. Yeah.
Again, to quote
Yes.
Bollywood, another favorite dialogue of mine, मुझे तेरे घर में मेडल नहीं, मुझे तेरे घर में रोटी चाहिए. I think you are actually
Oh,
doing something for young struggling professionals where they can at least start making their ends meet to grow in confidence and grow in stature.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for that insight, that I'm helping people, young people as well, because making confident decisions and empowering decisions becomes so important. Feeling empowered, whatever decision we make. And thank you so much, Dr. Atri. Thank you, Amreen. Thank you, Riddhi, for joining us today. And that was our panel discussion. And we've had beautiful, beautiful insights and conversation today. I hope to stay in touch with each one of you after this particular course. And yeah, let's connect again. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much, Tanya. Thank you so much, Riddhi. Thank you so much, Dr. Atri. It was a great time having this discussion with you.
Yeah. Thank
Same.
you,
Yeah. It was
Eminent, for
quite
this.
enlightening for us also. Yeah. But
Yeah. Adding to that, I would also like to acknowledge Major Nitish Kumar's absence today. He's out there saving our country, helping us sleep safe and sound during the night. So we just hope he is safe and sound, and he is all right, everything's going fine. But yeah, having him here would have also added to the perspective, and we would get to know how things are happening. And yeah, from that end up, because making on spot indecision, in the moment decisions, we would have learned a lot from him. So maybe next time we will get him on board as well for the panel discussion. But yeah, we hope he is safe and sound. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye. Good
Thank
afternoon.
Bye.